Hi folks, Pete the Psychic Medium again, and we're continuing on with chapter, section, something, number 5 of the story, and it's looking like we're, as I've said already, we look like we're heading into at least eight series in the series, eight 5 lots in the series. I should have had my cup of coffee, shouldn't I? Righto, so I'm Pete the Psychic Medium, and this is for entertainment purposes, but also it's primarily for spiritual education or spiritual enlightenment. It's the whole idea of the work I do with my spirit friends. For those that are coming for the first time, popping in here now, it's best to go right back to the beginning. It's a continuing saga, story of my then, well, he still is, he hangs around every now and then, friend who passed away with had major cancer, and we communed. And there's a third party that we call Danny, and Danny was who is a psychic medium, and also who got messages separate to me. So we were confirming that this wasn't just my imagination or his. And yeah, so generally it's a story of Sam's passing into the spirit world, and the fact that Sam did not believe in an afterlife, and he got a rude awakening, as would be the case with any of us. All right, so at the end of the last, and this is the 5th, I think I said, at the end of the last one, the 4th in the instalment, Sam was going through a really low, very low spot. He was very hard to hear, and it sounded like he was, a long way away. My spirit friends were saying, we can't bring him forward. He's not coming forward. But what we did learn was that he had locked himself in a room, in a place, in a centre where he was very morbid and, very sad and very locked off. So to the point my spirit friends virtually said, well, we won't go any further with that. We'll leave it there. So that leaves us up to that last part. In fact, Sam was saying, where was the last? I'll go to the last bit if I can find it here. Where he's actually saying, I'm saying, as I've said all the way through this, when we're referring to me or Pete, it's not me alone. It's my spirit friends, mostly, who were talking through me to Sam. Anyway, the combination, had said to him, Sam, you are so far away, it's almost impossible to hear you. And Sam was extremely faint. And he said, yeah, you too. Too much chatter. Wish they'd leave. Now we tried to get more out of him, but then he just virtually faded away. So my spirit friends then said, Pete, he has lost all hope, all faith in what he believes in. He is so introverted that it is making. I'll take that again. See, I'm having trouble with the reading here because of light and stuff, and my very, very poor reading skills. Yes, he has lost all hope, my spirit friend said, all faith in what he believes in. He is so introverted that it may take his spirit friends, a very long time before they can get him out of that room, because he was in this room. So I said in this instance, because I'm talking to my spirit friends now, so those voices or people he could feel around him, he was referring to them as communists. Who are they? And my spirit friend said, a combination or conglomerate of high-level souls, including his guides, Jill, and her guides, and of course Danny's guides and us. And so, there's like a lot of information is trying to get through to Danny, but he has locked himself away in a room, and the chatter Later, I think he says it's in another room, but it's actually the energy of our guidance, all of us working to try and bring him out of that depression and gloom. Okay, so I then said, can Danny intervene? And Danny being the other psychic, for those who've been following, the other psychic medium and close friend of the two of us. He has a more aggressive approach than I. Could we get Sam out of that black hole? I just need to bring this down a bit. Oops, I got a touchy mouse. Danny would have a far better chance than you, my spirit friends are saying, but it may have to be a while from now before Danny makes any attempt with Sam. Using a simple analogy, the starving kitten is more likely to leave its hiding place when the food is offered. Okay, so is there anything further I can do for Sam now? No, leave it till we interact with you and Danny in the not too distant future. We will contact one or the other of you with tools to help your friend. He is worth saving and he is going to take a lot of effort. I then said, okay, my friends, spirit friends, I'll send this off to Danny in an email so that he can read it first and then in the morning, that is. Did you want me to add any more? A spirit friend said, yes. Danny, if you could act in your mind as if you are Jill when you're thinking of Sam. Imagine that Jill, imagine what Jill would be saying to Sam if she were interacting with him. This will allow Jill's guides, with her permission, to superimpose an actual energy of Jill to Sam. Now, see, I was saying this to Danny, or we were saying this to Danny, because Danny wasn't sure. This is new for him, it's new for all of us. But it was because I've interacted, as I've said before, with spirit guides and spirit generally, I was aware of the difference. Danny wasn't so. It's because we're all different. We receive in different ways the energy of our spirit friends. So what they were saying, my spirit friends were saying to Danny is, don't be yourself. Because that was the wall in the last one that stopped Danny and Sam communing. Because Danny was, you've got to turn to God. God's your... And that wasn't working. So they're saying, instead of that approach, take on the role of what would his wife, Jill, have said to Sam. So that was the instructions they were giving there. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit past that because that's, I think we've just passed all that. We're coming up to... Oh, there was a funny bit here. Oh, well, just towards the end of that lot, my spirit friend said, he is not lost. As long as you both believe he is worthy saving, and this applies to everyone. If you have a family member or a friend or someone that passed over, and you know they were living a life that you thought, no, there's no way in the world they're going to make it. The physical world and the spiritual world are miles apart. The person in the physical world, however they may have lived their lives, are going through change. They have to go through change because they dislike themselves as they were in this new world. So, like I was saying there, think of the person. Think of them in the sense of, hey, they'll be all right. If they'll just accept that they're okay, then that helps them to deal with the fact, well, I wasn't okay, but at least I've got something left. So it's that sort of ideology there. And there are many more over here using your love to superimpose on Sam and his psyche. Please don't give up. And I came back with, so I'm assuming that we are Sam's communists that are referred to in the room next door, or in that dark room he was in. He was talking about the communists. And my spirit friend said, yes, they're Sam's communists. So I thanked my spirit friends and we closed off at 8 p.m. that night. And then there was a no-show on the I don't think... No, I'll just read through this. I think it's the 5th of May of 2018. I just started watering my garden when I sensed a very strong feeling that someone in spirit wanted to interact with me. It seemed strange that it would be Sam because his reluctance after his last visit. Then he said last time I was down in the Bay, Harvey Bay, that spirit preferred to come through to him around sunset. That was those back then. For 15 minutes I sat in concentration waiting for some interaction. I got told, don't think of Sam, and so I tried as best I could to keep my mind clear of any person, just sitting in meditation. But I was aware there was something in spirit other than my guides coming forward. But I had to keep the thought that it might be Sam, sorry. Anyway, nothing happened. I was beginning to think I was wasting my time, and by 6:10 it was obvious that nothing was going to happen. So I just said, what's that all about? We don't know. There was confusion around Sam and Jill, and we're not involved. So I said, could Danny be getting information tonight from him? The spirit friend said, yes, very possible. So I then said, is Sam any better than when I chatted with him a few days ago? And they said, he's being imposing, no aggressive. No, he is being imposing, no aggressive, no, more a combination of these, of those, and with insistence. He feels like Jill owes him. Now, Jill was his wife. And it was like, you're my wife and you're over there because, he was still a male. You should be helping me out. And they just confirmed that. Now, I'll move through this because that's not that important. You can read it, of course, as I've said, and I'll leave the link. Oh, that reminds me. I'll leave the link to the original that I'm reading here so that you can go through yourself, especially with my jolting reading. As I've said, I'm poorly educated, a school failure at 14, and I still have dyslexic problems. But I do the best I can, and you can read it if you want to. The idea of this basically is to put it up there for you so that you can go and read the full thing in your own time. So, okay. So there's a bit there. It's all about how Spirit and I are talking about basically nothing really of importance to the matter. So we'll go on to onto the 17th of May 2018. I took a trip over to Gayndah. Now, it's my shopping place. It's about half an hour drive. And I go over there to drop off rubbish. As I said in the first instance, number one, it was while I was on my way back then that I found out that Sam had passed over. So it's my regular tripping. On the way home, I was, as I was coming to the top of the bridge across the river in Gayndah, I saw Sam come to mind. I had Sam come to mind. It's all right, the clock distracted me. I went through the usual tuning in process with my guides. And when it was confirmed, and with the aid of my mobile phone, I recorded this conversation. Back then I had a mobile phone. We have no mobile phone service out here anymore. Hi Sam, how are you? Audible, but still not the wiser. Confusing, old mate. Yeah, don't know where I am or who I am. It takes time. Not that I've been there yet, of course. Chuckle. Quite seriously, and you wouldn't want to be. I don't have any advanced thoughts. You're not the first to have come down to visit me like this. after you've died, and I was saying that because I had. But I wanted him to see me in a light, and my spirit friends are feeding me on this, in a light where I needed his help, as opposed to me being a saviour who was going to save him. I'm in Gayndah and I'm heading over the bridge, heading back home, at the intersection with the main road, so that's to let him know where I'm at. Yeah, I can feel the RSL hall up there, so if I'd gone straight ahead I would have gone past where we had the funeral, the memory funeral service thereof. Last Saturday was a long weekend, so there's quite a bit of traffic happening in town. So he was silent again. As I went past the retirement village where he'd stayed, he went to the hospital. Yeah, okay, I'll go past that. Where are we up to here? So he's not saying anything, he's saying silent up to this point. So I say, do you want to have a chat, mate? He seems stronger and more moved, he seemed stronger the more I moved out of town. He was sitting in a rather large round black chair and in a dressing gown. Not a dressing gown I recognised. He then said, you guys know so much. That's Danny and I. And I said, you mean Danny and I? Yeah, there must be lots that are out in the same situation as me, meaning lost in space. So, do you see anyone else there? I asked. I mean, have you had visitors while you've been there? Fred's had some thoughts of me, and Fred was an old guy who's now in spirit, but doesn't realise I can hear him. Good thoughts, like he's missing me. Some others also. Adam's the strongest from family, kindred spirit, I think, and they were all just ones he knew. I met others who have passed over, spirits, ghosts, or whatever you want to call them. Do you get to see or make contact with them? There's always parties going on there's always parties, that's how you're saying it. Oh, there's always parties going on in the next room, but I'm really not interested in partying. Do you see them, the party goers? Do you hear them? Or do you just sense or feel them being there? I don't know. I just know they're there. They're happy and friendly, but I'm just not interested. So who's again down in the dumps, in the doldrums. By this stage, I'm coming to. Whoops! Something's just happened with my video. It keeps flashing out, and I hit the key to bring it back, and I hit another program. So humble apologies for that. A day in the life. Wish I was up there with you, Sammy, sometimes. So I said to him, have you been back to Garoolba, his old home, since chatting? And that was where he was on the veranda. He came out, went to the window, had an incredible encounter that brought me to tears as I was reading it, remember? So I said to him, have you been back there in the more recent past? No, nothing for me there. Everything's changed, not the same. Jill? Yeah, Jill. What makes you believe there's not going to be something there with Jill for you after you've gone through this nightmare? I just know. Too much to change. She's not worth it. Or I'm not worth it, I don't know. There's just too much to do with. So he's obviously, as the seeds, and as I've said, you need to follow my split soul theory, or their split soul theory, as to what's going on with him. It's like the soul, the confusion of the soul and the seeds within the soul, not too sure what's going on and where we're at and who, in the past few vlogs. But now he's at a point where the seeds are starting to shake. Some of them are wanting to move on and some of them want to stay. Now, as I say, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about if you haven't read the split soul theory. And there's a link to that at my blog. Oh, well, I've got a video I've got a video there, split soul theory. So have a look at that. I don't know, it's too much to change, she's not worth it, etc. Do you have any thoughts? Like you feel you're chatting to yourself in your mind, like you used to do? No, I never did that. You didn't mull things over? Have recollections? Have memories come back? Yeah, everyone does. But I never thought of God's thoughts or stuff like that. I found that interesting because I had made no reference to God or heaven or similar. Maybe it was a Freudian slip on Sam's part. Knowing Sam, it was definitely a Freudian slip. He would immediately have gone over to, here we go, this Bible bashing stuff. Okay. And me saying, or we, are you having those kind of thoughts now, or have you since you came over? Yeah, you and Danny. That's how we make contact. You both come to me, or came to me, in my thoughts. Others float by, but they just don't stick. Mostly my thoughts are about what I'm missing, and what I used to do, with Jill, and when I was on my own after she'd gone. That's sad, Sam. Yeah, but what's the alternative? I can't go back. So is that it? That you stay here in that room, recollecting that recollections that no longer have Jill. Irritated. Well, what else is there? And don't go back bringing up God or spirit or shit. So this is the minute I'd heard that, I knew that it wasn't, as far as I knew at that point, I'm pretty sure, well, I can say now, I know for a fact that Danny or I had, when he had the cut-off, we deliberately did not get into the God thing. We moved away. But somebody was. And of course that was happening up there. Where are we up to now? And then I said, when you were at your lowest back in Garuba, did you break out of that loneliness by going someplace? And of course I did. I'd go down to Danny's and his wife, the Orange, with you to play the pokies. I've put the name Orange there, but I can't think what Orange was. It must have been another. I think it was just a name I must have used to cover. Anyway, he went. It was the boat club, I think. We're talking about here. But where's there to go now? Continuing, I said, remember I said you have to learn to crawl before you can walk. Remember I got you to move off the bed, to take the walking frame and move to the window and open the curtain. Now this is again in the first person, it's spirit. This is spirit talking, it's not me. And to the curtains. Great lot of good that did. Broke my heart when she stayed away. And it's referring, and you know that if you've read this, been listening to this all to this point. After a few minutes, I allowed a truck to overtake me because I'm still driving. Rather confused, old mate, I said to him. Rather confused, old mate. Sorting that out takes time, and it must be hell. Tell me about it, he said. Sam, you must have had expectations before you passed over. After you died, Jewel would be there waiting for you. Yet you didn't believe in life after death. Going over what I'd already said in quite earlier, there's one major hurdle you must face and come to terms with. Silence from Sam. Then there's your own body riddled with cancer, needing heaps of medications just to exist, yet you're alive and kicking with nothing. Not even food, and you're certainly not alive here with us. It's all too much. Something popped up I don't need. It's all too much. Sam said. You trusted me to leave the bed with the walking frame and the curtains. You need to trust me again. You need to go over to the fridge, break open a can of Black Douglas, and then come back. Well, he laughed his head off at that one. If this is heaven, how can there be booze? First fallacy you have to overcome, mate. The crap we were told, like no alcohol in heaven, often stop many rejoicing their own personal heaven. Have a go. See what happens. Kink in the neck, not in the script. My neck. Laughing. What fridge? Make one up, Sam. Pretend. Still laughing, he reaches out to the make-believe fridge. Ha, I don't believe it. The fridge is real. Now open the door and take out a can and join me. Laughing his head off. Wow, these cans are huge. And you can drink as many as you like, and they're free. But now I'm coming into my yard by this. So I'm going to have to leave you, old mate. Where are we up to time? Geez, we went through there quick. So I'm going to have to leave you, old mate. After you've had a few of those, think about going to the door and just looking at the party going on next door. You don't have to go in. Just be an observer, that's all. And have an extra super large one for me. And that was the end of the conversation of that particular section, because I had to bring my groceries in. And I think this is the groceries I had to get to replace the ones I lost, the frozens that lost when the first and second part of the vlog. You'll understand what I mean. Okay, so I'll stop it there, and it's still a bit early. I've got 4 minutes left. So, not a lot to add that I haven't already stated with him. It was one of the most incredible parts about it from my perspective was that I had done work with spirit before, and it was the Aboriginal guy I think I've told you about, and another Aboriginal lot that I did where there was healing, and I had an elder, and he got me into a trance, and I had to actually perform a ritual, which is rather embarrassing because I felt a fool, but thankfully there was only the owner of the property who knew me and nobody else. But I hadn't had an encounter like this. This was something different. I was leading someone from the earth plane into the spirit plane, and they were extremely reluctant to go there because they didn't believe in such a thing, but yet they couldn't explain that it was there. So it was a real difficult time for Sam. And there's also the other little bits, like he's fading in and fading out. And I knew there were times, I haven't said it, but I knew he was deliberately fading out because it was sort of, and that's how he was with me. It was all right to impose on me, but if I had something I want to say or do, was no, he'd just walk off. All right, so that's it. I'll leave it at 28 minutes, and I'll go on to the next one. So thank you again for putting up with me. I didn't get a chance to shave this morning, having the day off. It's Tuesday. Oh, hell, I kept thinking it was Monday. Righto, catch you next time round on vlog 6. I think this is 5. Catch you then.